two times that my heart has sung. And both these things was at the AIDS rally in New York and at this protest today.
How about the protest?
And that's because you have people that are dying to tell the truth.
Every 7 minutes, somebody dies of AIDS. And that was the first time to me when I actually thought about it. Like when I'm at night sleeping, every 7 minutes someone's dying. I think Robert has gone through the same thing that all of us have gone through on this film. We've seen it now.
You've decided that you need to stand for something, that there's something you believe in. And maybe through this you've come to the point where you're ready to say something, and you can use this opportunity to have an effect. And when people see you, they'll think that maybe they should do something, that they should get involved, that they should help to create change.
You know, the Cold War's over, and now America's new enemy is its own. The liberals, the media, homosexuals, minorities, women who want to be empowered. You know, so if we could say the Cold War's over and the new American enemy is the other Americans.
If God has a plan, I better end the Cold War. There's too many nuclear frictions. If I get rid of that, maybe these little pinheads can figure it out. There are a lot of them, and maybe they can figure it out. And they got to vote for the fucking shit kicker. Get him in there, and he'll rise from his shit kicker occasion to the occasion and do all the right things, or try, because he wants to be like Kennedy and be a good guy. And the planet will be saved just in the nick.
Is it too late or not for the American people to deal with? Once they understand that a decision that somebody makes in Langley or on Wall Street has an effect on the drugs on their street, has an effect on the guy that broke into their house last night or the guy that raped their daughter. That's when people get motivated enough to change something. When there's an old saying, in a ham and eggs breakfast, the chicken is involved and the pig is committed. We have to become a nation of pigs again.
There's this French phrase, if you don't do politics, politics will do you. And I've got a 16-month-old daughter who's going to have to live in this place after I'm gone. And so, to whatever tiny degree one can do a little bit of reading and get some information out there.
Once you start to take a stand and say something is wrong, and I'm going to find out what's wrong, and you think you might pay a price of a month, it winds up becoming your whole life.
And certainly, I think one of the most important things that could be pushed for would be a legitimate third party.
Thoreau triggered something. He triggered a movement. The time was right. He came along, and the man and the moment came together. I think a lot of these people are actually going to stay politically involved.
My personal opinion is Ross Perot's best place is outside the system. I think he can do more to shake things up, and there's still a whole lot of shaking that needs to be done.
Downey.
Mike.
I'm coming live over the cellar right now. How do I look?
You look great. Is that you?
Yeah, things were going really good in Little Rock. I ended up working in the war room with James Carvero and doing the satellite feeds all across the country.
I must say, man, you are really an inspiration to us all, and
Yeah, well, I think, you know, the one thing is I've always wanted to try to create change, and I think that I see the way to do that is through the media now. I see the media as kind of the nuclear weapon of the 90s.
It's now down to one endless final day.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Is the chicken man the best qualified man?
What scares me is the crossroads. You know, personal crossroads for me. It's such a pivotal time in general. And now seeing how pivotal things are outside, too, it just brings me back to the stuff of, are you ready to let outmoded beliefs die? Are you ready to do, you know, are you ready for a transformation?
Hey, that's the only thing that's inevitable in life, is change. And if things don't change, our planet's not going to be here, basically.
I think when you're talking about this stuff, cynicism is death. And then you die and you're not there anymore. As long as you're here, you got something to hope for.
Individuals make the difference. Whether it was Robert Kennedy or Martin Luther King or Al Lowenstein or a lot of people who risked arrest and ultimately even their lives.
Get organized, come together, come with a proper agenda. and then come up to that White House door, knock on that door, matter of fact, not even knock, kick that shit down.
These are the people that did it all. The perfect song for them is When the Saints Go Marching In. Let's go.
My dad and I were frightened, wondering if everything was going to fall apart on the day of the election. But my other mother, my father's second wife, Laura, who has ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, and is physically challenged, had been assuring him and I for weeks that everything would be all right. As far as hope goes, the love I still see between them has really inspired me, probably more than anything else.
Laura has a good question, I guess, for Robert. What is the goat party? Because she hasn't seen a foot. I said maybe Robert was here in another lifetime and he was a shepherd or a goat. How the fuck do I know? This is one of the worst beatings in history. He stayed the course after having been swatted down in New Hampshire about his girlfriends and his pot. I just hope this fucking guy does something now. He proved he had endurance, and he's there tomorrow morning, and we better hear some shit already tomorrow. I want to hear it.
With high hopes and brave hearts in massive numbers, the American people have voted to make a new beginning.
Dad looked at me and he said, you know, it felt like the 60s in here tonight. And he's never said anything like that. He's not one to be nostalgic. It's almost like he feels safe to care again, like he might not have since the 60s.
Come on, Bill! Bring it home!
Clinton Quayle. How about that, just to mix it up?
Good news is no news. I'm using that in this fucking script. Good news is no news, said the hangman to the murderer on the scaffold. God gave Clinton a decent day here.
This is nice of you.
Yeah. Anyway, I think you're doing great. And I told him over there, he said, why do you think Robert? I said, Robert's awake more than you know. He said, you're going to wake up this year he was awake a long time ago. It's just he's clogged in spots. Aren't you? Aren't we all? Just because you blank out, so fucking what?
I want to show you something.
Huh?
That's my goat boy. That's who I really am.
Thanks for a wonderful day.
Thank you. Really
Thank you. And I'm glad I know more about you than you know about me.